we're live on Facebook and YouTube today for our season finale, episode 17. And today we're going to be doing some Q&A questions that you guys have given us, and we'll probably look through any other topics that you guys would like us to dive into. So feel free to comment, chat with us. It's just going to be a very chill, fun hangout, talking, and we'll end the live with our year-end reflections.
Yeah, so go ahead and add some additional questions that you might have. We're going to be checking the comments as well. So let's go with the flow today. This is our last episode of season 2. So we're excited to wrap up everything and move on to season 3 next year.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's get started.
Yeah, go ahead and choose.
Okay. All right. Okay. This one says, I am a life path 2. Can I change it? Okay, so this is a very interesting question. The answer is no, unfortunately. I love that you guys have been giving us questions about, life paths and things like that. It's super fun for us to talk about. But as far as like changing your life path, I would say that you absolutely cannot change your life path. It's based on the day, the month, as well as the year that you were born. So whatever that kind of adds up to, that is going to be like your energy, So me being born on March 6, 2001, I would be life path 3. And no, I can't change that because I can't change the date that I was born. But I will say that you can definitely calculate other types of numbers, like your destiny matrix number, your personal year number, things like that. So you are always going to be changing and switching off energies based on numerology, but who you are at the core and your life path, as in like who you are coming here and your life path, right? Your actual path in life, which is that number that you were pretty much calculated to be. And I do want to mention that any number, like life path number you are, your zodiac, like anything like that, you will be like you are the one who chose it for yourself before you came here. So
exactly.
Yeah, just keep that in mind, because there's reasons why you have certain things for yourself. It's based on your personality, who you are, and the lessons that you came here to learn. So it's very intricate. Like the universe is very intelligent, guys. So no, you cannot change your life path number, but you can definitely calculate other kinds of numbers to get like different types of energies for your year, or certain things like that.
If you do want to change like a numerology number that you have, you can through your name. So there are some like numbers in your chart that is based on the name that you have, because your name is a vibration as well.
Yes.
So if you want to change that, that is possible, because you can change your name, which is what a lot of cultures and religions end up doing in order to enhance like more abundance in your life, or bringing in more blessings somehow. I know in our Hmong culture, we usually change names in order to protect ourselves. It holds a higher vibration and more protective energy to really secure your soul, so your soul doesn't like get too vulnerable to things.
For sure.
Yeah. Hi, Kaming.
There's
Hi,
a lot of comments.
Yayo.
You
Yeah,
wanna pull it
there
up on your
is.
phone?
Okay, let's see.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Yeah, sorry we're
Yes.
super late. This is nothing new.
Yeah, we were having so many technical difficulties with a new platform that we're trying to use to stream on YouTube and Facebook. But as always, I feel like, isn't Mercury in retrograde?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, just blame it on Mercury in retrograde. Hi, Yayua. How are you guys doing? We're doing good.
Hi, guys. Thanks
Hi,
for
Kameen.
joining.
Hi, everyone.
All right. Okay. So that's kind of a little bit about like the life path numbers. I know we went through every single one, but as far as like, can you change it? Unfortunately, technically no. I'm pretty sure anything's possible, but I will say like the only thing that I can say is just embrace your life path number, embrace like why you came here, and all of the energies that comes with the number. Like I'm a life path 3, so 3 is all about self-expression, creativity, and being very free-spirited type of person. It's the universe's divine child, so I do resonate with that a lot, and I do feel like I chose that for myself for a reason. It's a part of who I am, and you know, if I, like, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm a singular digit, like, why can't I be as good as like a master number or something like that? But there's no such thing as like good or bad or better than the other. Like, you really have to embrace your own journey. It's your journey and you chose that for yourself. So yeah, so that's all I can say for that.
Exactly. And a lot of times your life path number, it has to do with your purpose here too, and the lessons that you chose for your soul's evolution. So embrace that journey, because you chose that so that you can learn the lessons needed to evolve. And, you know, I feel like master numbers, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, because it's considered a master number, I want to be one. But honestly, being a master number myself, it's not an easy journey. It's a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles, and that's exactly why you have to go through the life paths of 1 through 9 to get to a master number, because, you know, you need to master those energies and those lessons before getting to the next stage. And that goes for, you know, a lot of things in life too, of course. Yeah, but great question. If that was possible to change your life path, I'm sure everyone would have by now. Yeah.
Yeah, you said, what's the hot topic today? So today we're doing Q&A. We'll just repeat it again, but we have a bowl here of questions that we have collected out like throughout the week and also the years, I guess, just because like we get emails from other people and lots of messages from people who have like certain questions. So we're here to answer as much as we can, and we're also taking any additional questions. Feel free to comment and we can go ahead and just answer it as we go.
Yeah, just a fun, chill hangout tonight. So if you guys want to, you know, join in on our conversations, or if you have any additional like questions or topics you want us to touch base on, let us know and we can definitely talk about it together.
Okay, Linda's going to choose the next one.
Okay. I'll just choose like the next one on top here. Okay, so this question says, are you guys into shamanism and healing through rituals? Yes, so I'm sure you guys have seen a few of our episodes that we've had with our mentor, actually, our master shaman, Yayua. We did an interview with her earlier this year, and she dove into shamanism and the healing that comes with it. So you guys can definitely check out that episode to learn some more. But regarding my personal beliefs too, we do follow shamanism, and that's basically what I grew up on and what I believe and follow as well for a healing modality. So
yeah, I think we've touched on this a lot in the podcast too, but yes, you know, we both grew up in shaman households, and I think with shamanism, like rituals, you know, a lot of people, and like based on our old generations, everything like that, we do, of course, like our healing rituals that have been passed down for many, many years. But at the same time, I do think that shamanism is very broad in all cultures. You know, here we're talking Hmong shamanism, but with other types of shamanism as well, you can also do other rituals as well. So there are certain, you know, protection rituals, like even like doing your meditation, you could also conduct a ritual as well, you know, but a lot of that stuff you have to really practice, learn, you have to really be protected, you know, you have to really be smart about it. So it's all intention, you know. So I think with shamanism, there's so much that comes with it. When we talk about shamanism, people, they stigmatize it as like something that is connected to like, you know, the lower realms, demons, like ghosts, like spirits, right?
Scary stuff. A lot of people are scared of shamanism, but it's because I feel like our Hmong community is a community where we don't really share this type of information, and a lot of it has to do with you know, personal experiences too. And some shamans are actually not allowed to share too much information, especially I feel like the older generation, they were a little bit more conservative in what they shared, and that's why we don't, you know a lot, or like the newer generations are not very knowledgeable in our own beliefs and our cultures. But us being, you know, newer generation, we want to be able to be a bridge to educate others on, you know, the shamanistic side and what can come with it, both good and bad, and what you can utilize to heal yourself and heal others through it.
Exactly. And I think a lot of you guys have been kind of in the solo journey, right? Like when you get into a spiritual journey, it becomes very lonely and you don't know who to ask for help and things like that. And even us just saying this, you know, I know a lot of you guys have said like, wow, like thank you so much for validating. Like I've been wondering like why, you know, there's a lot of shamans rising. I've been wondering why, you know, I'm rising, and like how all these things are happening at once. There is a huge shift going on. And with shamanism, it's not just about, you know, like doing rituals and everything, like that is a part of it, but it is a method of healing. So right now we're transitioning into a time where we need a lot of healers. We need a lot of people to start waking up. Even if you aren't technically like a shaman, right, with the gift, you are still somebody who can give healing, some sort of like I always say, everybody has some sort of gift. It's very true. So
Yes.
the question is, how are you going to implement that gift to help give back to the world, to others, you know? So I just say, you know, like the spiritual journey is a lonely one. And with shamanism, yes, we both believe in it. We grew up with it. Our parents, you know, they do rituals and things all the time. So I would just say like, that's just a part of it. But like I said, over the years, it's been so stigmatized. So yeah.
So glad you guys are bringing this back. It's good to see the newer generation embracing the practices. Yes, that's one thing that I value a lot too, for myself and the future generations, my children, is being able to embrace your roots and where you came from and being able to pass that down through the generations. Because yeah, it is true that it's slowly, you know, getting lost because we don't speak about these things enough. And a lot of times the stuff that we talk about is considered taboo, or, you know, like, I don't know, conspiracies, or people just like brush it off. But these are things that need to be talked about more so that we can educate others on it.
Yeah.
It's all about awareness too. Oh, and share if you guys shake tests yet, and how was the experience afterwards?
Thank you for asking this question, Yayo. So of course, I actually just recently have done a shake test with a shaman, Yayo herself, and it was amazing for me because it was not something that I had planned to do, but it was actually for another student that day. But the thing was that, you know, we were just kind of hanging out too, and I was just asking questions like, oh, like, what is it like, or, you know. And for those of you who don't know, a shake test is to know, like, if you have, you know, Kuning, which is your spirit guides, or your shaman guides, right? Because we all have spirit guides. But the interesting thing about this was that yeah, I just was not expecting to do it at all. So it was like this moment of, I was like, oh yeah, like, what is it like? And how, you know, how do you do it? Or like, if you do it, like, do you have to start, like, certain things like that? And I do know, you know, about my guides. However, the thing is that I'm not in the position to be ready yet, you know what I'm saying? Like, to go yet. Just because I'm still in school, I have some things I need to figure out first. So, so with the shake test, it was really cool because it was late at night, and I was thinking to myself, like, oh my god, like, I need to like, I really need to just shake, because like I don't know what it is. And it was like autopilot, I swear. Like, I just kind of got up, and she was okay, like, it's your turn, like, time to go. And I was like, okay. And so when I went, it was just the most amazing experience actually that I've ever felt, because Yayo had explained to me, like, okay, when you do it, like, you're gonna notice that the first shake is, you're gonna feel really weak at first, and like, you can really feel that, like, you know, you can't force the shake, like, they have to help you, to shake you, but you have to be like the initiator, right? So it's like, you can't start the car if you don't turn the key into it, you know, but the car starts driving by itself, right? So like, the thing is, like, with the shake test, I was feeling so like pushed, kind of like I was starting to like feel like all of the energies like push against me. I started to feel like shaking, my hands were shaky, my legs were shaky, like everything was starting to shake. However, I realized that, oh my god, I cannot lift up my arms. And the thing is that you have to be very careful with this too, because a lot of people, they can not be in the right mindset, they're not used to spiritual things as well, and like, it can get kind of spooky to the point where like they want to control everything. But really, you have to like really surrender and like let it go, like let all of that tension go, because once you let go, it starts doing the work for you. And that's something, like, for me, like, I feel like over the years I've been on this journey for a long time, so I was not even afraid, like, putting the veil over my head and doing all of these things. Like, I felt a lot stronger, and I felt like I was, like, this wasn't anything new to me. Like, I know, like, even in certain past lives, like, I have done this before too. So it's really crazy to say that, but it's like, it's just remembering the things that you forgot, right? And so in that moment, I was like kind of shaking my hands, you know, were kind of like this, but they weren't like going like all the way up yet, like rising up. So I had to like really ask my guides, like as I was doing it, I had to ask like, hey, like, can you guys help me like lift up my arms? Like, you know, like you can just ask or tell them like, if you guys are here, you know, help me lift up my arms. And there was a point where I was like, oh my God, like okay, it's going, and then all of a sudden my hand started rising, and then I was really going. And I think Yayo, like she was there, of course, and she was, you know, doing the gong, and she was like, oh my God, like she's really going, you know, like. And when I was done, I was like, I had asked about like some feedback, because I was like, yeah, like the only thing I really saw was like these candle lights like opening up, like boom boom boom, like it's like kind of showing you the path. And so yeah, y'all had told me like, yeah, like I had said to your guides like it's time to come back and go home, but they were like, nope. And then they took me like even further, but you know, and then eventually they came back. But the thing is that for me, like I felt as if like it felt so good. It was like a really good feeling for me, because I normally listen to like trance music all the time. So and I'm always jumping up and down, like, you know, dancing and everything. So I'm like, it felt like a release. It felt like I needed that. And ever since I had done that, it actually kind of triggered or sparked something in my spiritual journey, where I feel my intuition is really crazy. Like everything's really coming to me naturally. And I think like I mean, I'm not saying that this is what's gonna happen, but it's just my experience. And I think like with everything else, you know, like hearing that, you know, I have, you know, even Native background, Native American, like spirit guides, as well as just like, I don't know, like singing, you know, in the back and everything. It's such a beautiful experience if you really make it one, you know. And for me, it was a beautiful experience, and I just feel really grateful that Yayo was able to do that for me. And I don't know, guys, it's amazing. It's really truly an amazing feeling. That's what I was telling Linda, like
I know,
yeah.
I was so excited for her when I found that out, and she showed me the video too. I was like, should, because that is I feel like that's almost like a big step into like starting that actual journey, is like the test, because it's almost like a confirmation, like yes, they are with you and they're helping you, they're guiding you throughout this journey.
And I will say, I do want to mention that, like, we talked a lot about, like, intelligence, right, on the other side and things like that. And it's so crazy, because when I was up there, you know, like in the fifth dimension, right, like, I was literally feeling to myself, like, this frequency is so different. Like, I don't have time to just think about stuff and process things and feel things. Like, I have to go and get going, and like I have to think on my feet. And like one thing Yayo told me was like, okay, well, when you do it, like make sure you have a plan. And that did kind of spook me out a little bit at first, but then
because it's almost like you're opening up that door too, like, okay, now your guides are expecting you to start soon.
But I will say that as soon as I got to the higher frequency, I was like, oh, my soul is like so prepared. It felt almost like, okay, like I'm ready to go, I'm ready to do this, and like I know what to do. Like there's no time to think, I just have to do it, you know. So it was like a lot. It's a different frequency, like I said. So you just keep that in mind, I guess, if you are rising and you are like looking for your shake test in the future. So yeah.
Yeah, you said, is Linda going to do one too? Hee. It's interesting because I actually haven't done it, because I have heard in the past that, like, you know, you kind of trigger your guides to get really excited, you know, when you do a shake test, and advisably to, you know, start your journey shortly after, so that, you know, they're not waiting for you too long, or like having such high expectations for you, because they're like, oh, she's opening the door. But that's just what I've heard. But interestingly, physically, in the physical realm, I haven't gotten tested, but I've actually gotten shake tested in my dreams. Earlier this year, actually, it was a little bit before summer. It was a really interesting dream, but my main spirit guide came to me and actually put the veil over my head, and like all of a sudden like told me to just like meditate. And as I was meditating, all of a sudden my body was like moving back and forth. It was like the most vivid dream I've ever had, and it literally felt like a shake test for me. And I started like trancing, going back and forth, and all of a sudden I felt like a feeling inside of my chest that needed to like release, almost like needing to feel like to break free out of like this shell or cage to like go up into the higher dimensions. And all of a sudden, like heavenly celestial music started coming out of my mouth. Like I was singing like heavenly music, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was the craziest dream I've ever had. And I actually got it confirmed with, I actually asked Yayua previously, and also like one of our friends, Pa, she's a shaman as well. And basically they had mentioned to me that my main guide came to kind of, I guess like shake test me, but also it was like, you know, just to test and see where I'm at with my power too, with my abilities, because in my dream I actually, there was too much power, too much energy. I actually fell forward. And so that was kind of like me needing to learn how to control my powers more, like, I guess, is what they mentioned. So it was a really interesting thing. But shortly after that dream, throughout this year, I've had a lot of dreams of my tools, all of my shaman tools, which is really interesting. So I know that the time is coming closer soon, and hearing Paris's shake test experience is really exciting, because I wonder how my personal experience would be too, because I know everyone's experience is different.
Yeah, for sure.
Love that for you, Paris. Let us know your next plan. Any dreams? Have your guides visit you yet?
I do want to actually, like, I'm just gonna talk like right now at this point. Like, I had a dream last night actually that I saw a dead bird in my backyard. And so what I had done was, I was so sad about it that I actually went over to this flower field, like, and I actually asked the guardian there. I said, hey, like the flower guardian, please allow me to take these flowers, and I want to do a proper burial for the dead bird over there. Like, it was really punctual, like when I said this in my dream, and the flowers had granted me permission. So as I was picking the flowers, and like I had them all in a basket, and I picked mushrooms too. It was really interesting. Like, there were these mushrooms, they look like flowers, but they were mushrooms because they actually started to like get onto me. I was like, oh my god, are these poisonous? But they were fine. But I went over to the dead bird and I laid like all of the flowers. Guys, this is a dream, okay? I laid all of the flowers and the mushrooms around the bird like this, and I was like, I prayed to it, and I was like, you know, I pray that you make it to heaven, and that you're okay, and that your spirit is okay. And it was just like this bird. It was like a white and gray bird, and it was just like literally like almost as if it got ran over by a car or something. And what had happened was that as I was leaving, I turned around and I saw a huge hawk. Like, it was not a normal hawk. It was like almost like the size of like an actual dragon, you know, and it was like, it was a hawk, and it came to the bird and it grabbed it with its beak and then like just flew away.
The dead bird?
The hawk grabbed the dead bird, yes. And so I was like, oh my god, like that's so like, well, my first thought was, no, like it's gonna eat the bird, you know, like no, like you weren't supposed to eat the bird. But then when I really woke up, I was thinking like, what? Like I'm not sure if the hawk like was eating it or if it was actually just taking the body to a different place, you know. And so anyways, that was like an interesting dream that I had. But like another dream was that I had a dream that I was a teacher for these babies, and they were like 1 to 2 years old, and I was feeding them, and one of the babies was choking. So I grabbed the baby and I put her on her stomach, and I like punched her on the back like 5 times, and she like spit out like the meat or whatever it is that was in her throat. And then I grabbed her, I looked at her, and then she was like, she wasn't blue anymore. She was really happy, relieved. And I was thinking to myself like, oh my god, like if I didn't react like that baby could have died. And like it was really cool because I was with a bunch of other teachers, and I had my own classroom, but the grade that I was teaching was no grade. It was 1 to 2 year old babies.
Newborns.
Yes. And so when you say like, have your guides visited you yet? I think so. When I was talking to Pa, which is Beauty of Oneness, she was saying that, wow, like it's interesting because, you know, when you go on the other side, you are like a student, right? So you go to school, you graduate, things like that. And so she was like, okay, now you have become a teacher or a mentor. There's and your level that you're at is 1 and 2, which is the baby's, age. She said the interesting thing is that they challenged you in this dream. So it just happened to be that the baby was choking. So they wanted to see what you were going to do. Mm-hmm. So she was like, did you save the baby's life? And I was like, yeah, I did save the baby's life because she was no longer choking. So she was like, okay, then you passed, But she was like, it's interesting that when you get to the other side and you have these sort of positions, whether you're the student or you're the teacher, right? And these challenges, they come to you. They're going to teach you like certain things. And in that moment, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, like I literally said to my spirit guides, like, why would you show me that? Like, I hate that. It's literally like, it scared me. Like, I don't want to see a baby choking, and I felt and I heard my guides were like laughing at me. Like, they're like, like, we just had to show you something that made you super uncomfortable, which for me, like, I have a huge connection to children and babies, especially that, oh my God, like, please do not give me that anymore. But it's like my, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a certain thing to me that helps my spirit guides help me to become stronger, become better, right? So they have taught me a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, you said, that little bird was you. The hawk represents spiritual growth. Because hawk represents psychic ability, vision, clarity, and perspective. The hawk taking the dead bird means that they are removing burden off from you. Your guides are cleansing you. Wow, that's
Thank
beautiful.
you so much for that, the description and like just clarification, because I had that literally last night and I was like, oh my God, like what's going on? Like, I was like, the hawk is so, and then actually I forgot to mention, I'm so sorry, I'll stop talking after this. But
go ahead.
like, after that dream, I was pregnant. Like, I didn't mention this part, but after I walked away from the hawk, I was with my sister and I was pregnant and I was having a baby and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm having a baby. Like I was telling my sister and then she was like, yeah, like Paris, how many babies do you want? And I was like, I said, well, 4 or maybe 5. And then I woke up and I was like, like with birth or pregnancy, like they can say that that's like a birth of a new idea or like a new life, right? A rebirth, literally like death and rebirth. So I was kind of connecting that too because I was like, why? There's a dead bird, and then that would make sense if that was me, because like, dying and then transformation into a new life, in that next dream or transition, I was technically like, I was giving life, like a new life. So
next thing you're going to dream of laying eggs.
Laying eggs, which is so funny because like I said, I was pregnant, so
That's so funny.
Amazing.
Wow, thank you for that dream interpretation.
Yes.
So if you guys have ever had any dreams like that, you can kind of align it as like a dream interpretation meaning.
Yes. That was awesome.
Nice.
All right, Linda's going to choose the next question.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, our next question is, what are your thoughts on psilocybin? And psilocybin is a chemical that is found in some plant medicines that helps with your brain activity. So Paris can do some details on that. She's been doing research on that.
So psilocybin, like for all of you out there who are wondering what that is, it's technically just magic mushrooms. So this is an illegal substance, only legal in some states and some places around the world. But with my opinion on psilocybin, I have been doing research on this in my master's program right now. I know a lot of you guys have asked me questions about psilocybin itself and, my thoughts or my take on it. I do believe that when we talk about psilocybin or mushrooms, I don't like to use the terminology of like drugs or things like that. It does fall into the psychedelic category. So if you know anything about psychedelic drugs, there are synthetic drugs out there that give you the same type of effect. However, mushrooms is kind of like the child, right? We say the child of, the plant medicine. I like to call it a medicine instead of a drug. However, with mushrooms, right, and then we have the next thing with the grandmother, which is ayahuasca, and then San Paulo, which is the grandfather. So with, the child, we have psilocybin mushrooms. So mushrooms is a plant medicine here that kind of gives you a, kind of like the opening of your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, right? but with intentional use. So the reason why it is illegal is because it can really affect your your state of thinking, the way that, you know, your shadows, everything kind of comes out, your emotions, things like that. So they do make it illegal, of course, because it's not a substance that's supposed to be like used recreationally. You should not use it recreationally. There was a lot of research in the past, in the 60s and 70s, where people had used this and abused it. Like, they also stigmatized it and had said that, oh, people would jump out of the windows, jump off the roof, they would kill themselves, they would do certain things, right?
Scary, like things to add fear.
Right.
But a lot of times it was because people were using it under like no knowledge of what it can do to you when you're not in the right state of mind.
And that's when it was super new. So the thing is that psilocybin was literally here the moment that the earth was created. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know how it got here, but for some reason, God, the universe, the creator, right, of all, whoever had created this earth realm had created psilocybin to grow into the ground, just like they create crystals and, you know, all these things. Like, it was not a man-made or synthetic type of drug. It's something that's actually grown.
Part of nature.
Yes, it's
and
a part of nature.
It's a mushroom, you know, so that's part of the ecosystem of everything, nature, because it's connected to the mycelium, the ground, to the trees, and that's how it grows too.
Exactly. So with my take on it, you know, like I say, I like to call it a plant medicine because when you are using it with intentional use, it really brings out a lot out of you. But the thing is that people have used it way back in ancient times in Mesoamerica, where they would use it for ceremonial use. A lot of priests and like you know, different like leaders and ceremonies and things like that, they would actually use it so that they can connect with spirit. It's called like kind of like connecting to spirit, so that they can receive messages from the other side and give it out to their people. Because the thing about back then is that they didn't have modern technology. They didn't have things like, you know, computers and laptops where they could just look things up. Like, they needed guidance. That's why a lot of the people back then, and you know, like even ancient Egypt, Greece, like Romans, right, all those people, like, where they had to understand how time works, understand the calendar, understand like everything, they use like certain things like this, like these plant medicines, to help them understand how to connect with, you know, the spirit world and get answers. So that's the one thing about psilocybin. So it was kind of shut out for some time. There's certain places outside of America that, you know, they do legalize this, and people still use it. But the thing is that there was a point in time where the FDA did decide to close all research down, and they were like, yeah, no more. Nobody can do research on this. There's too many people, like, you know, there was like a whole movement, like, you know, the DARE movement and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Around the 90s or around there.
Or don't do drugs.
Yeah, like people were like saying all those things, and like 60s, 70s, you know, people were abusing it. So it kind of came back eventually, came back around, and people were able to do research on it again. So with psilocybin, it's still kind of in the works as well. I do know like some people, I know some people who have experiences with it, you know, as well. And I will always advise people, you know, like, if you're going to do something as sacred as like psilocybin, I will say do it intentionally, do it in a good setting, in a good place, do it ceremonially, do not do it recreationally.
And do your research on it first, because some people have adverse effects to different type of like plant medicines. Even let's say marijuana now, it's legalized in a lot of states now, but some people don't react well to it. Exactly. And these are all plant medicines. Marijuana, you know, mushrooms, weed, all of that, like, it's used intentionally to connect us to a higher realm, connect us to spirit. And I know that there are some indigenous tribes that do utilize that in their shamanic healing work. So a lot of shamans in different native tribes utilize these plants to connect to, you know, Mother Nature, or connect to spirit, connect to the higher realms. And they use it with respect, asking permission from the plant spirit to bring them those intentions and what they're trying to manifest with the plant.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about, you know, like, you have to really respect it, because if you don't respect it, it won't respect you.
Yes, exactly. And that's why a lot of people that do use it to just have fun or get lit or recreationally, they experience adverse effects, because the plant will humble you. Oh, yeah. It will show you.
And that's the thing is, you know, like people, they don't understand that until it actually happens to them. And I always say, make sure you're in a good mindset. A lot of people who are not on this like spiritual journey or like holistic lifestyle too, like people, they have a lot of things going on. So if you decide to take this like recreationally or even by yourself or whatever it is, whatever the circumstance, I will say just be very careful about your own mindset in that moment, in that current moment, where you are with your family, where you are with your friends, where you are with your relationships, with yourself, you know, like how much do you love yourself? How much do you respect yourself? Because the thing about psychedelics is that they will bring out the parts of you that you absolutely hate and you absolutely cannot stand. It will bring back the shadows and the things that, you know, will hurt you. So you really have to be very careful with that.
Exactly. And a lot of times, any type of, you know, plant medicine or something that you use that can alter your state of mind, you become vulnerable to other things out there. So that's why it's really important to set intention and set protection for yourself when you are using these, you know, plant medicines for intentional purposes. Because, you know, with anything, there's always good and bad, right? So things can come through, or sometimes, like, you know, you hear crazy stories about people using plant medicines and they get possessed or stuff like that, right? They don't set protection for themselves. They don't ground themselves before using these things to expand, because sometimes when you're too up here, you forget to ground, and this is where your protection is down here.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so important. So be extremely intentional, you know. There's so many things that could happen, and like I say, it's like a opening. Like you see, like a lot of shamans, they have the abilities, the gifts and abilities to see things, to hear things, to experience things like that. It's like taking this substance will open up those portals for you too, because that's kind of what it was here for, is for you, so that you can connect to spirit, right? So it's really all about your intentional use. But if you have like really scary thoughts, or, you know, all these different things that you feel, like it's going to be really important to cleanse your mind, cleanse your body, cleanse your home, your room, everything, wherever you're at, and just set a protection prayer, because anything can really happen when you do. Once you take it, like, I'm sorry, there's no going back.
and it's in your system now, so you just have to wait for it to go through its course too.
But also keep in mind the amount that you're also taking, like dosage is also a factor. Like in my research, I say all these things because every single thing is a factor. Your environment, the people you're with, the dosage, the amount you take, right? So everything matters, and like it's very important. So consider everything. But I will say, you might not know until you actually try it and experience for yourself, like how you personally are when you take this medicine. So yeah, it's a medicine, so just keep that in mind. Yeah,
exactly.
And then your laptop.
Give us 1 second here. Just gonna connect this charger. Okay.
All right, next question.
Go ahead.
Okay. How do you protect yourself while using tarot cards, and how you found out what works for you, such as feeling the protection? Okay. Do you want to go, or do you want me to say?
Okay, let me read it. Okay, I can share like what I do for myself, you know, because everyone has different rituals or ways to like protect themselves when like utilizing divination tools, right? And, you know, like we always talk about how protection is everything, especially when you're trying to connect to the spirit realm. Anything could come through, especially when you're opening a portal to connect to the other side, to receive messages from your spirit guides, or, you know, past loved ones, or whoever you're trying to connect with, right? It's all about intentions. So setting the intention before even starting is going to be a big thing. Oops, sorry. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah, set your intentions. And a lot of times I do like a protection prayer, like Pierce had just mentioned earlier. So protection prayers are really good because you can, you know, like we said, everyone has spirit guides, everyone has angels. So utilize, you know, your guides, your spirit team. They're here to help you. They're here to protect you and guide you. So I usually set like a little space for myself. I light up like a black candle and then some incense sticks, and I just pray to my spirit guides and my angels, my shaman guides. I ask them for protection, to protect me from any negative energies, anything that could, you know, potentially come through, and kind of like using visualization too as a tool, because that's also very powerful, right? Is visualizing like a protective barrier or bubble or shield around you. It's going to really encapsulate like this protective space, so that you don't allow anything in. So you can really get creative with it. Talk to your spirit guides, ask your guides, and really truly feel it from within. Like, how do you feel that protection? You feel it from within. Like, it's not like you can physically see this, because it's all spiritual work.
Yeah.
So a lot of times having that strong belief and faith is really important, because if you don't even really believe that your protection prayer is working, how is it going to protect you?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's kind of my perspective on that. Yeah, I can share yours.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much the same way, so I do pretty much the same thing. I think even if you say it in Hmong or say it in English, like spirits are universal, they can understand any language, truly. So like if you just say like, oh, like I'm now going to open the portal to like tarot card, oracle card readings, please give me guidance, like things like that. Of course, you would say that after your protection prayer and everything like that. But from there, you would open the portal in that way, and then once you do your reading and whatever, you do it for yourself, you do it for the client, whoever it is, whenever you're finished, then you have to also remember to close the portal as well. And I think what you have to do is like really say like, okay, like right now I'm gonna close the door. I'm closing the door to all tarot card, oracle card readings, and letting nothing follow me back, nothing like that. So it's like a whole type of thing. Like words, they're very important. So the way that you say, you have to like really truly mean it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And then I will say there was one time, I think, like, honestly, I feel like you and I, we, like, really just learned this, like...
Recently, yeah. When before we even started, we didn't even know about this.
We didn't know at all, literally.
Exactly.
And we were just...
But we were very lucky that nothing, like, crazy happened, because I have heard stories where, you just dive into this and things can come through, right? But not a lot of people are lucky to have that protection.
Right, exactly. But there was one time, actually, and this is kind of how I figured this out, was because... There was one time I did a reading, and then it was like late at night. Like I always do readings at night because I don't have time during the day, which kind of sucks. Because you work and you have school all night, and then all of a sudden you're like, you get this creative spark of like, oh, I want to do a reading or whatever. And I started doing a reading, and then right after my readings, like I'll just go to sleep, right? And there was a moment in time where I did kind of feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like there's so much energy around me. Like I feel so exhausted. Like the next morning I woke up and I was like, I'm exhausted. Like I feel there's so much energy around like happening. But the thing was that like I had asked Pa, right, Beauty of Oneness, which is one of my family members, like she was saying, yeah, like, I think you forgot to close the portal last night, And I was like, oh my God. Well, thankfully, in my home, it's very protected, but a lot of the spirits that do come through are going to be a lot of ancestral spirits. So in that moment, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's nothing crazy, but, like, there's just, you just left it open for them. So it's like, that's probably why you woke up exhausted, but, and from there, like, that's never happened again. But I will say that it is very important. So, as far as like feeling, like Linda said, it is like a intuition type of thing. It's not like something you can physically see, like unless you do have the ability, of course, like you can physically see, yes. But the thing is like with like knowing that, oh, my protection worked, or my like opening and closing the portal worked, like you will not feel anything, you will not like dream anything bad, or you know what I'm saying, like it's just certain signs like that, like you have to really use your intuition to be like, nope, like I know I closed the door, so nothing should follow me. And it's like, yeah, you just gotta be strong in your word, like really truly mean what you say. So.
And a lot of times I ask my spirit guides to assist me and help me in this, so I put my trust in them. You trust your guides that they're helping you in whatever you're asking. I like to do a lot of things with my hands. I don't know, like, if other people do this, but, like, when I open the portal, I'm, like, physically, like, opening a portal, like, in front of me and closing it afterwards. I feel like that kind of helps me strengthen that connection with, like, what I'm doing, too.
I can see that, yeah. Because I think for me, it's, like, I actually visualize, like, a literal door opening, you know what I'm saying? So it's, like, And it's just like, you know, you're just kind of pulling it or you're closing it. Like, I'm closing the door, you know. And like, it's just, yeah, hand gestures, like visualization, like it's all very powerful. Like there's a reason why you feel the need to do that or that you're able to see that. So
exactly, because it's all in your third eye too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's how we do it. Alright, so moving on to the next question. If you guys have any questions as well, feel free to put that down in the comments. We're just going through the previous comments that we've received on our episodes and like what you guys have reached out to us and talked about. So it's just a chill hangout. So we'd love to chat more with you guys. Let us know if you guys have any feedback or inputs on what we're talking about as well.
Yeah. Okay, so this question. What should I do if I'm married and my husband found out about his twin flame? Okay, so we get a lot of questions about twin flames. I think that video was super popular because I think after a lot of people watched it, they start to question themselves like, oh, am I with my twin flame, my soulmate, or my karmic? You know what I'm saying? But this question is interesting because I will say I don't think that we have enough context to completely answer the entire question. But in general, if you are currently married and your husband or your wife has found somebody they found out that's their twin flame, I will let you know, I have said this in the video, which is that it's very common for you to find your twin flame and one of you is already married.
At the wrong time. Yeah.
Yes, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's tough to answer this because the one thing about a twin flame connection is that you were literally like created at the same time. You know, you share the same soul, you just split into two. So it's hard because that connection is almost unbearable. It's like a connection where you can't do anything about it. Like you, as much as you want to, right? Like, that's why I say, like, if you are in a relationship with somebody, you know, like, you don't always have to go out and search for answers or like you know, like search like for other people's answer, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like my husband, you know, he found out that his whoever is a twin flame or his like highest soulmate, like it will, like physically it really will hurt a lot of people's feelings. And I think when you are at the level of like a fifth dimensional consciousness or thinking, like we have to understand that, you know, we are all connected in one. I will say that at the end of the day, that's your husband and your wife. It's going to be your own journey, like up to you if you decide to be with this person or not be with this person, and make it work or not make it work. But I will say that as far as like finding out about a twin flame, it can be a little bit
triggering,
unfortunate.
Yeah, it is a very sad thing because a lot of times you know, when twin flames find their other half, they're either married already or, you know, they have a relationship and it happens to be like a third party or something like that, or like the age difference is really like, you know, far apart or stuff like that. There's a lot of different twin flame journeys, but this specific twin flame journey, there's actually you know, other experiences that are very similar that we've gotten where it's like their husband or their wife that has found a twin flame, or themselves are with someone, they're married but they found their twin flame. And it's like, how do you deal with that? Because in the physical, like there's so much emotions, there's so much, you know, like energy connection, like it's like all within. You're confused why, because in reality you don't really have much physical, like I guess contact with this person, but like for some reason deep down inside your heart beats for them, and you're confused. A lot of times it's a spiritual connection. It's very deep because you guys share so much history together. That's literally you.
Yes.
A part of you, the mirror of you, and they're supposed to mirror all of like the things that you need to heal from. That's what your twin flame is for. It's for your highest soul evolution. And so when you do meet your twin, that most likely means that you're going through some sort of awakening. They're supposed to trigger something in you for you to wake up, be more conscious, and, you know, realize why you came here for. It doesn't always have to be romantic.
And that's like the biggest thing is like to really answer your question. The only reason why your husband or wife or yourself, right, has met your twin flame or your own twin flame is because you need some sort of triggering for your spiritual journey of some sort. It's like they are the only ones who can really help trigger you to change. And that's the biggest part, is that people, they think or they see and stigmatize twin flame to be like the most beautiful relationship, the most beautiful like connection that you can ever know. But truly, most twin flames are extremely toxic because it's not an easy relationship to balance in the physical realm.
It's hard because it's kind of like being with yourself, but like all the negative traits of yourself that you haven't healed from, they will literally reflect that as like another human being in front of you to show you, hey, like this person is reflecting the things that you actually push down deep down inside that you need to heal from. And so a lot of times it's very toxic because most people don't actually heal. Yeah. Most people don't actually want to do the work that healing needs and takes to become better. And so that's why it's really triggering. And if you do decide to like, you know, pursue and be together with your twin flame, a lot of times you'll go through a lot of obstacles together. And, you know, that's the first trigger for this person that asked the question too, is that, oh, like that person was already married and they met their twin flame later. That's an obstacle in a twin flame journey in itself, which is having, you know, another person in the picture. And
it's also just a simple test, you know, your test of your loyalty, honestly.
Your test of your loyalty to your love.
Your delusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's a lot of things with twin flames, like they can bring out a different part of you as well. So you kind of have to like, I don't know, like I will never be somebody who supports, of course, like cheating regardless of your title, your spiritual title. Like I don't care about any of that. Like the truth is, we are not always supposed to know who our twin flame, who our soulmates,
or your karmics.
Yeah. We are supposed to come here just to learn lessons. We don't need to come here and figure things out 24/7, you know. But you know, use your intuition, of course. Like it's really cool to know certain things like that, but trust me, like the moment that you do find out, like, oh, this person is my twin flame, it will start to trigger you a lot.
Yes, because it opens a whole different door for you. And like sometimes it does trigger like past life memories with that person too, when you figure out like your connection, your spiritual connection with that person. So it's really important to really make sure you know what you're getting yourself into before looking into these things, right? And it's complicated. So do what's best for yourself at the end of the day. Like you're here to learn lessons for your own self and do what's best for you. Like if it's, you know, affecting you, like your husband found a twin flame and you don't know, you can't trust this person, your husband, anymore because you don't know what they do behind the scenes or stuff like that. Do what's best for you and walk away, you know?
Yeah, sorry. Honestly, I feel like there's no real answer to this question because it is such a fifth-dimensional topic. Like, your twin flame is not just a person that you know. Like, it's a person that you have lived multiple lifetimes with to the very beginning, to the very core. So you kind of have to understand that when there is a twin flame connection, there is nothing that you can really do to break that bond or to, you know what I'm saying? But like physically, yes, like you don't have to feel any physical attraction or feelings. Like you can take yourself out of that situation, like physically, of course, but spiritually, it's like something that is embedded in you. And at the same time, like I said, like it's not what anybody wants to hear because it's a very fifth dimensional way of thinking, which is that, oh, okay, like I have to understand that even though my husband or, you know, my wife or whoever found who their twin flame is, that person is not meant to be their husband or wife. They're here to be a trigger for their spiritual growth or for their personal growth. And so I have to understand that even though you met this person, it doesn't mean it has to be romantic, you know? Exactly. So you really have to like take yourself out of that.
That's the thing with the 3D is that not a lot of people are able to accept that, you know, you can have mutual connection with someone without any romantic, you know, feelings involved with your gender, you know, and that is a very controversial thing too. But when you are two highly spiritual or evolved people, like you don't think like that. You don't think like, oh, I want to take this person's like, you know, partner, or like, oh, I have these intentions. But, you know, I will say we are human and some people still do have those type of like thoughts, you know, So I understand it's a progress and a journey where you have to just have trust and faith in your partner, even, you know, that, okay, this person chose me, and regardless if they found their twin flame during this time, I'm going to trust that, you know, our connection is strong enough to overcome like this obstacle in our marriage or whatever it is.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next question.
Okay, let's see. Okay, will you girls be doing any episodes on Reiki healing and Kundalini? So we actually have a spoiler, yes. We will be covering Reiki healing. As you guys know, Paris does have her Reiki certification as well. And we will be discussing more about like what Kundalini is and how to open or like enhance, you know, this Kundalini energy that we have within us. It kind of goes hand in hand with like the chakras that we've done previously in this season. You guys can go and learn a little bit about the chakras first. It's kind of like a prerequisite into this next topic that we'll talk about in season 3, which will be Reiki healing and Kundalini energy,
with also a guest speaker. So that's going to be super exciting. But yeah, as far as Reiki, honestly, I don't even know why we haven't really touched on this topic yet. I love talking about Reiki healing because I feel like it's something that I want to get more into doing. I know a lot of people have actually messaged me like, hey, do you offer any services? The reason why I don't offer any services is because I don't have a place to do it, or like a actual like massage table or something like that, to do like Reiki healing. Well, for me, I do feel like I need that sort of comfort type thing too, especially working with clients and things like that. But everybody, I feel like with Reiki healing, it's super awesome because you don't have to be like a special gifted person. You don't have to have any sort of abilities. You just have to trust in the universal life force energy, really learn it, like every level, every stage of what you need to know, and at the same time find your own way of doing it, because everybody has their own like way of doing Reiki. So for me, it's like I have a lot of clairvoyance and clairaudience, so I can hear and see messages come through, especially with each chakra. So it's going to be really important to also learn how the chakra system works. And for me, it's all about each chakra system and if there's any blockages or strains or things that kind of come through with that person based on trauma, feelings from the past, or like any pain, like physical pain. Reiki, you can do self-Reiki on yourself, which is amazing, because if you have pain in your hands or pain anywhere in your body, like you can literally just, you know, put your hand on there, call into the universal life force energy, which will literally bring you this infinite amount of energy. And you know, you don't have to like use your energy exchange. Like, I know I do want to answer one question that a lot of people do ask me about Reiki, which is, how do you protect yourself when you give Reiki to other people, right? So of course, with anything, do protection prayer, pray upon for your spirit guides and things like that. But at the same time, Reiki is a practice that comes from, you know, Japanese roots. So the thing is that with protection, we call on the universal life force energy to shield us and to also help us like gain energy, as well as shield our current energy from energy exchanges with other people, because we're here to use the light to send energy. It's not really that we're giving our energy to them, you know. There's a big difference, and a lot of people really have to learn how to differentiate that when you are starting to learn how to do Reiki. So
I think that's so important in being a healer in general too, is you know, don't just give your energy away, utilize like the universal life force energy to heal others.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you guys are learning Reiki, or you are trying to get into Reiki or energy healing, healing touch, different techniques like that, they're all very similar, but they all have different like niches to them. So just make sure that, you know, whatever you're practicing, you're just intentional, like everything is all intention. And just know that this is an up and coming thing. So I feel like if you're practicing, like, keep going. Don't give up, because this is something that a lot of people in the future, they're going to be wanting more of, especially we live in a world where there's a lot of pharmaceutical things happening. You know, big pharma, it might be coming down soon, I'm not sure, but I'm just saying.
Well,
like,
we can already see that with the current news that's been
Right.
going around as well. You guys can kind of see where the system is kind of heading.
Exactly.
The holistic aspect is definitely going to be coming up and becoming bigger, and it's a lot of people going back to the roots, which is you know,
Yes.
healing naturally.
And that's why I'm like, sometimes, you know, like, it's okay to call it alternative medicine, but I personally don't like to call it alternative medicine, because this is the very beginning of what medicine is. You know, like, back then we didn't have technology and things like that. Our ancestors, you know, they had to learn survival for themselves and use their certain instincts for herbal medicine and uses like that. Reiki healing, you know, that goes back like thousands of years ago.
And a lot of it too is like the foundation of medicine and pharmaceuticals was based on plant medicine. So it's just like, you know, would you rather take the natural route or like the chemically made version of it that's been made through, you know, labs and tested on rats, animals.
Right.
You know, there's a lot that goes behind it.
And at the same time, I also want to just put a little disclosure thing too, because I do work in a psychiatry clinic, and I know that a lot of people, they do need certain prescriptions and things like that. For sure, it is helpful for some people, you know, and I think the one thing for us is just that we really support holistic medicine and, you know, herbalism, things like that. And it's just to kind of help, like, a lot of people, they call it alternative medicine because they go to the hospital, and a lot of doctors, they can't really find the issue or how to find cures, right? We like talk about, I know we talked about this in the last live, but like with, you know, cancer, right? Like, a lot of people, they don't know how to get rid of cancer. They don't know how to, like, do anything other than use radiation and medication, and at the same time just pray, right? But at the same time, like, I know there have been studies shown, guys, like with cancer patients who will look over to Reiki healing, will look over to, you know, herbalism,
holistic practices.
Yes.
And healing modalities to heal, and they have improved, you know, their well-being more than pharmaceutical drugs have or doctors have. So,
and also the same thing goes for even psilocybin. I have done research on that as well, where people will use psilocybin, you know, or doctors will have, you know, the patients use psilocybin, but the thing is that it's not here to help, like, cure your cancer technically, but what it does is that it helps you to understand that life is what it is. You know what I mean? It's acceptance, it's forgiveness for yourself, it's, you know, like, finding a little bit of love or peace in your life, because when it comes to certain sicknesses, of course, like, nobody's truly happy with, like, their sickness and condition, but at the same time, like, I have read, this is what I've read, you know, research studies where they'll use psilocybin to help certain patients just feel a little bit better about their life, because, you know, certain things like this, like, even really, like, lab created medications, like, can really make you have a lot of side effects and a lot of depression, anxiety, suicide, things like that. They'll literally tell you all of the, you know, the side effects, so you just have to be very careful with those things. Yeah.
Right, so we have one last question. I know we've been on for about an hour now. It's been great being able to catch up with you guys. Hello to everyone that has just joined recently. Oh, okay, we have a comment that came in. I heard you mentioned twin flames. My twin flame is very egotistical and lies a lot. He said really mean things about me. Okay, that is very sad. But yes, a lot of times we have a twin flame that reflects the negative shadow parts of ourselves. So it's like in the way you treat yourself sometimes, your twin will treat you that way.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you kind of have to look at it from like a bigger perspective of like, okay, like, you know, is my twin reflecting something that is within me that I don't acknowledge about myself? Like, do I self-sabotage myself without realizing it? And that will come out through, you know, your twin trying to sabotage you through being egotistical or like lying a lot? You know, is that a part that you have within yourself? Do you lie to yourself, or do you have your own ego that gets in the way of like your higher self sometimes too? Is some things to like think about with like twin flames. I'm with my twin flame too, so I have tried to kind of pinpoint like different things that he has reflected for me to learn more and to grow from for myself. And I will say it's pretty interesting to see and compare.
Yeah.
But yes, a lot of times the masculine, the divine masculine, is one that is still kind of like closed off. Their ego is higher, and they have a lot of healing to do still in order to wake up. And it's kind of like at least they say one of the twins has to lead, regardless of who it is. Most of the time it's the feminine, the divine feminine would lead the journey of the twin flame to help the masculine like wake up or trigger them in some way. But the most like important lesson to learn in a twin flame journey is it's all about self-love. It's like coming back to love yourself and coming back to choose yourself, regardless of, you know, the connection you have with them. Because when you choose yourself, your twin actually grows and evolves too. Like, oh hey, like she's growing, she's healing herself, like I need to heal myself too.
It's a chaser and runner aspect. So
yes,
yeah, there's a lot of things with like the chaser and runner where you are going to be the masculine is usually the runner, so that person is usually the egotistic one, the one who doesn't really understand a lot of things, and the feminine is the one who chases after. But the moment that the feminine stops doing that, the masculine kind of thinks to themselves like, oh, she's not chasing me no more, like I'm gonna go see what she's doing. It's like just physical words, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm saying. But I will say that when the masculine starts to wake up is when the feminine starts to love themselves, you know. So even if you are, you know, you have a partner or you know your twin flame or whoever it is, I will say that, you know, the only way for this to really stop is for you to choose and love yourself, because your twin flame is just a reflection of you. So the more you love yourself, the more your twin flame is going to love themselves, the more that you guys will be able to love each other. And truly, this doesn't just go for twin flames. This goes for all soulmates, all connections, all relationships.
Life in general.
Mm-hmm. So just make sure that, you know, like you gotta love yourself. That's number one, always. Mm-hmm. She says, I love myself. I've learned he is a Mason and chose the alliance. Sorry, I'm so blind.
And chose the alliance with them over our being together. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sometimes happens when your twin chooses, you know, a different path. And, you know, the union is what they call it. And it's okay, you know, like just choose yourself. And if it's meant to be, your twin will come. If it's not meant to be in this lifetime, it'll be a different lifetime where you two will learn the lessons together and become, you know, into union.
And a lot of times if you see this happening, it could also mean that, you know, there's a repeated cycle happening here where they're, you know, choosing to do something else that is not with you. It's not like necessarily like trying to be with you, but it's like not doing the work that they're meant to do. Unless they are meant to do that type of work, then, you know, it's all case by case, to be honest. It's not like not all twin flames are the same. It's really case by case. So
sometimes like your twin might have unfinished business that involves other like soul contracts or other people, and they might end up like choosing that route to clear that karma first before coming to heal, like, you know, the soul and the soul's journey with the twin journey. So that might be in a future, you know, lifetime for you too, if that's the case. All right, so I believe we have one last question, which is right here. Instead of opening portals, you should open the Bible. Much more divination in it. This is the way. So this was left on one of our reels that we had posted a while ago regarding divination tools. And we talked about a variety of different tools that you can utilize in your spiritual journey to help you with receiving guidance from your spirit guides, your angels, your higher self, or like the universe, you know. And we talked about like how you can utilize these things in different aspects of your life that you might have questions on or you want to like dive deeper into. And this person had left a comment about the Bible. And I just thought we could share our perspective on, you know, we're getting feedback to this response, this comment. I will say that there are various different tools that are very helpful in, connecting to the divine, connecting to source, your guides, your angels. In many different religions, they have different ways of doing this, whether it's through the Bible, the Quran, or, utilizing like blessed charms or like statues to pray to. A lot of different things, right? We have tarot cards and stuff. But I will say that do what aligns with you, what works with you, what allows you to connect to source, what makes you feel like you have a stronger connection. Use what helps you and guides you towards your highest good, your highest evolution. A lot of times these are just tools, and as we do know, there of course is a wide variety of tools because there's more than one thing that we can touch into or like tap into when it comes to the spiritual realm. And we have mentioned in one of our previous episodes as well, our dreams episode, where Paris mentioned that she does use a Bible actually as a divination tool that protects her during sleep paralysis. So yes, we are very open to various different like divination tools, different beliefs. I consider myself an omnist, so I believe in all religions. I'm not against any. So yeah, do what works for you at the end of the day.
Yeah, I will say it's very interesting to see certain comments on our pages, of course. Like, I was like, wow, that's like probably one of the first controversial type of comments that we've gotten, which is completely understandable, and I'm completely open to it. And I think one thing about starting a channel for, podcast like this is that you really have to be able to take certain constructive criticism and things like that. And I think for me, like, as far I know, like, Linda was like, oh, do you want to respond? And I was like, the only thing I can say is just that, I'm sending you love, because that's literally like your way of like using a divination tool, or using, you want to say that, it's how you open a portal, then sure, you know what I'm saying. But the thing is that I have no disrespect or anything like that. I do think that everybody kind of has their own beliefs and understanding of what they want to use to do certain things. But I think for us, like, we have created a safe haven for all souls, so that you don't have to feel like the way that you're doing things is wrong. So I will say, like, truly this is what I believe in, because I have half of my family is Christian and half of my family is shaman, and they are completely different. Christianity is a religion, of course, and with shamanism is a method of healing, or even you could say a belief, And so with that, I do believe that I have met shamans who have met God and Jesus themselves, you know what I'm saying? And so with this, it's very interesting because each ascended master, whatever religion you are, has brought some sort of oneness, to you as well. So anything that you truly believe in, I stand by you. I support you. I don't think that anybody is right or wrong. But what I do believe is that we're all one and we're all connected. So we have to respect each other and understand those certain things. I will say that to me, believing in God is believing that He is the creator of all, which I do pray to God, and I do ask God, the universe, angels, ancestors, spirit guides, shaman guides, to help me, you know what I'm saying? So I think with God being the creator, to me, He has also given me the gifts that I have today, So a lot of times I have thought to myself, I question myself, like, how did God even put psilocybin in the ground? How did He create crystals? How did He create shaman healers? Like, how does the universe give us certain gifts in life? It's like all the unknown. So it's not things that I can say that I have facts on, or that it's 100% true. But I think based on my experience and based on like understanding what I know and what I know about myself and my own sacred journey, is that that's how I kind of see things. Because at the same time, yes, like Linda said, I have a Bible of my own, and it has protected me. It has helped me. And at the same time, I love learning about different religions, because the only thing that I find is that it's all connected. It's all the same. There's just different terminology, different things that people use, and it's all intentional. Like, you have to really understand intention behind certain beliefs and certain things that are actually being written down, and also make it almost like a lifestyle, because with religion, there's a lot of people who say that, you know, I am a Christian, but at the same time, like, how do you, like, there's sometimes where I want to know, like, how do you devote your life to God, you know, or how do you, like, walk with God, or how do you walk with Jesus, right? So there's a lot of different things that I am learning from other people, or, you know, like with any religion. So I think with that, there's just a lot of controversy, but, you know, like I say, we got to shift to the fifth dimension, which is all about oneness and unity.
Exactly.
Like learning that there's no such thing as like one is better than the other, you know. I am you and you are me. So we have to understand that no matter what, nobody's going to be right or wrong. There should be no hatred, there should be no war, there should be no nothing, you know, because at the end of the day, like, why God would never want us to hurt each other. So we have to like really understand. I think a lot of times, like, some people will probably ask too, like, oh, like, do you feel like, you know, maybe your beliefs are a little wishy-washy, or you don't know what you truly believe in? Like, truly, I truly believe in shamanism. Like, I will say that's probably my main, is I am very, you know, like, I'm very shaman, so I will say that. But at the same time, like I said, it's because it's a method of healing, and it's something in the future where I can be able to implement like our shaman tradition in our ways, because I grew up in the household, you know what I'm saying, like you kind of grow up with like a certain belief or way of being, then that's kind of what you might follow too. But at the same time, like don't get me wrong, when I learn about other religions, I'm like, wow, that's really cool too. It's very connected to
what I believe in.
Yes, exactly.
And just let you notice that too when you kind of look at like the various different religions that are out there, right? Like you could take pieces and parts of each and kind of like connect them, like they're all like connected somehow. You know, we all pray to a higher being, we all believe in a higher being, like we are all connected because we do the same thing, just in different ways and different, like, you know, belief sets, I guess.
Yeah, so thank you for that comment, because I think, you know, I completely understand, and I think for me, it's like I love to hear everybody's feedback, regardless of what you believe. If you do truly believe, like, instead of opening portals, you know, like, we're not opening portals for, like, that intention. Like I said, everything's intention. So, yeah, it's okay. Like, I forgive you, and I love you. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know, starting this podcast this year has been quite the journey. I've learned a lot, and that was her last question, so I think we'll just kind of go into our year-end recap too of how grateful we are to have been able to have the opportunity to even have this platform to share our perspectives, our journey, and help you guys along your journey as well. It's been quite the ride, and of course, like, starting this is not easy. You know, a lot of it had to do with finding the courage and the bravery and letting go of, like, you know, those fears of judgment or fears of, like, criticism. Like, for example, you know, how do I respond to, like, you know, messages from others when they don't agree with what I believe in, you know.
Right.
It's, you know, that's how you know that you've grown and evolved, is when you can see things from a bigger picture and understand that everyone has their own perspectives on things and everyone sees things differently, but how can we come together to compromise and see eye to eye in, you know, certain things. Yeah, it's been quite a learning journey, but I'm proud of how far we've came, you know. If you guys have been following us since we've launched in January of, you know, this podcast, thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. We've seen a lot of you guys, you know, in person, and your comments and what you guys share with us. It truly means so much to us, and we appreciate it, because this is basically what it feels like to be living our dreams, you know. Like part of the journey of, like, growing and evolving too is, you know, being able to step out of your comfort zone. And I truly feel like for me this year, this is the most I've ever stepped out and put myself out there without feeling like you know, I need to step down from being myself, or, like, you know, hiding parts of myself. This is where we've created a safe haven for all souls, all of us, to be able to not only talk about things that are not talked about enough, but also being transparent and authentic with who we are, to share our perspectives in our journey as well. And so we would hope that you guys feel the same way and be comfortable in this platform that we created to share your experiences and also help empower others that may be going through similar things that you guys are going through as well.
Yeah, for sure. I will say, like, this is, if you know me, like, I never post anything. So this is, like, a really special year for me. I'll say for my end of the year recap, I'll just get it started. I have never put myself out there as much as I have, of course, with this podcast as well as the crystal business. And I think one thing about my journey, my spiritual journey, was that I had always felt so lost by myself, like as if like I didn't have anybody to share these things with. And we have a lot of conversations and we have certain things that we love to share. And I think just being able to have a platform or audience, people who watch us and send us comments and say, oh, thanks so much for helping me with this, or, you know, sending us your stories, like that's touching as well. You know, it makes me emotional almost to think about how people can watch us, you know, in their cars or whenever they're listening to something. You know, it's like, oh, I listened to your podcast, but it's like, it's just one of those things where you're like, wow, I can't believe somebody's actually listening to me talk about something. And you're like, I don't know if I said anything right or wrong, right? You have self-criticism, but at the same time, I had to learn, I think we both had to learn how to let go of like judgment and like even judging ourselves and thinking about like perfectionism, you know? So, I mean, everything that we say really truly comes from our hearts, and everything that we are actually feeling in that moment, and how we respond is very authentic to who we are as well. So I'm really proud about that. But I would say this year has been truly like one of the most, for me, it has been the most spiritual year so far for me. Like on top of, you know, the business and stuff, that's like one thing, but like my spirituality, like my journey, because I feel like I've been on this journey for quite some time, since, you know, 2019, to the point where like I was very depressed. And, you know, like your journey, like it keeps going, and it's like, I don't even know, we probably have waken up since we were, you know, younger. I've been told since I was 12 years old, you know, and to the point where I'm like, yeah, but it's the moment that you really start to have self-awareness and think about it. And I think this was the first year where I came out, I showed myself here. The second thing was that I had finally loved myself. I worked on my health, my mental health, my physical health, spiritual health, everything. I really set protection on myself. I really like made a lot of friends, and I attracted people who are meant for me. And I can't tell you guys that like I had it easy, because the thing is, I really prayed to be in the position that I'm in today. So I'm extremely grateful. Like there's really no other word to say other than I'm so grateful. And like all of my spiritual abilities, the things that I've learned, the knowledge, the, you know, the stress, the school, like everything. I've been in school for such a long time, and it's like I'm constantly like learning things. I'm constantly growing without even realizing it. You go through stress, emotional damage, like so much stuff. But at the same time, I will say that I have more highs than lows this year. And I was able to connect with so many people, and, you know, reconnect with people that I, you know, used to see back then, and just really love who I am, be true to who I am, and also show a part of myself on this podcast where people would say, oh, I didn't know that, you know, you were so knowledgeable in this, or I didn't know that you talk like that, or, you know, but it's like, yeah, he didn't know, because all these years I have been in hibernation, you know, like just kind of hiding myself, because I didn't know if it was safe to share these things, and I wasn't sure if like I would ever truly like love myself. To be honest, I was extremely like in a place of darkness and not loving myself and not understanding who I am, and I really had to do so much work to make it to the position that I'm in today. And I'm really proud of myself. Like I know a lot of people, like when they ask like, what are you thankful for, you know, like back in Thanksgiving, and I was like, you know, I'm not trying to sound like selfish or anything, but I'm really thankful for myself. And no, that's not selfish, because back then I would have never said that.
Exactly.
You know, so
you should be thankful for yourself,
yeah,
because you did all the hard work.
Right. So that's the thing, is I'm really grateful for who I am, the position that I'm in, the people that I'm with, like really grateful for everything. So it's been such a great year, and I can't expect a perfect year, but I can expect that, you know, I have had amazing moments, and those are really the only moments that I remember, you know what I mean, when I look back. So I'm like, yeah, like, wow, there's so many things that I tried, so many things that I had the courage to do, and I'm proud of myself. So yeah.
Yeah, I will say courage, authenticity, and patience are the three main themes for me this year. And it's been crazy, like learning how to even function this platform and learning the behind the scenes because a lot of times, we think of like, oh, doing these podcasts or like social media stuff is easy. You just, pull out your phone and record yourself. But you guys know we've had a lot of technical difficulties throughout the year that we've learned from too. And being the technical person here, it's been a ride for me learning about like the business aspect, the legal work, the paperwork. I truly believe that this is like the preparation for my journey and like my soul's evolution of where I'm supposed to be headed. Especially like the prerequisites of like how do you become your own entrepreneur? How do you become someone who can be authentic in sharing their story and their voice to create a platform and like an opportunity for people to come around and share their experiences with one another or share your story, your creativity, your ideas with the world. And so it's been an amazing journey of being able to do that, and I'm just so happy that we have like a bunch of viewers that enjoy like us just being ourselves on this platform. A lot of times it was kind of like a roller coaster of like having to fight against your own negativity, the thoughts that you have, and the beliefs that you have about yourself. And so with you guys, I feel like I've grown throughout this year alongside you guys. So it's been quite the journey, and we are just so grateful that we have a following where you guys are all so kind. I swear all of the messages and the comments you guys share are always so positive, and it's beautiful to be a part of like a community like this. It's very rare that we get any mean comments, so we're very grateful for that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's been such a good journey, guys. I don't know. I'm speechless.
All right. Thank you so much, you guys. It's been about an hour and a half since we've been here. We just got a comment that came through. Hi, y'all. If you've already answered this, let me know. I'll rewatch this episode when it comes out. How do you meditate? What are you supposed to think or visualize about? Are there any guided meditations you like and personally use?
So with meditation, I know, actually, I've had this question come up a lot, actually. And with meditation, I will say focus on your breathing first. The thing is, like, people keep expecting, like, what am I supposed to think about? What am I supposed to see, right? But whatever comes your way, you just let it pass you, and then you let it go. The thing about meditation is that it's supposed to put your mind into a frequency of, like, not like this, but like this, where it's starting to, like, put you in the position of calmness, like releasing thoughts that don't serve you, releasing things, because a lot of the times we don't realize that our mind is one thing, but we are not our minds. Our minds, they have so much control, it's so powerful. Like, we can think about stress, we can think about anxiety, we can think about our families, relationships, like so many things that come through, right? But
especially when you're an overthinker too.
Yes.
I feel like that was kind of me when I first started meditating. Is like the difference between meditation and just like closing your eyes, right? And having all these thoughts run through your mind. So like that's why, like Paris said, it's really important to focus on one thing, which is your breath, because that's the source of life. That's a source of you. And so when you focus on just being, that's what it is, just being alive, just being present, that's when you truly, utilize that meditative state to be calm, to like let go. That's what it is. It's about letting go of all those thoughts and everything, letting go of expectations to see things, letting go of outcomes on what to expect from after your meditation. Just go into it with an open mind of whatever I'm meant to see or whatever I'm meant to feel, experience will be.
Exactly. And you just have to kind of go with that, be intentional. You can't have so much expectations. Like, some people, they'll meditate and they'll say, oh, I see colors, and then you gotta understand, like, what is that color trying to teach you? What is it trying to tell you, right? But it's just observing what your meditation was like right after you did it. There's lots of different guided meditations. For me, I personally like a lot of the grounding ones. I really love grounding meditations because I like to meditate mostly when I know that my thoughts are going crazy, or like there's a lot of people energies around. Like I need to let go of all of that absorption and just like cleanse myself. You know, I like to do chakra meditations. That's like one of my biggest things right now, especially with sound bowl healing, because with those frequencies they kind of heal each individual chakra. So I like to do the 7 chakra healing. Because for me, I will literally bring out all my crystals for each chakra, and I will focus on that one body part. And for me, it's also connected to doing Reiki for myself too. So when I do chakra meditations, I'm also doing Reiki on myself. So with that, you are able to help heal a certain part of your body that might be feeling more, you know, frustrated than other chakras. Like it really depends. So you have to just be intuitive with what you're feeling. Like literally some people will be like, meditations for making more money, right? Like
there's so many different meditations. There's meditations to be present, meditations to release anxiety, meditations to meet your spirit guides, or like go on a whole journey. There's so many. But I will say, like Paris mentioned, the chakra cleansing or like the chakra realigning meditations, guided meditations, are really good. I also like to listen to the sound bowl chakra frequencies. So it's literally just like, you know, people playing the sound bowls for each chakra, and like you heal through sound, right? And so just like meditate, do breath work while it's going through all of the different sound frequencies for each chakra, and visualize your chakra rebalancing or like realigning or cleansing. That's really like a way to utilize meditation to its finest, because you're actually doing inner work while you're meditating too. It depends on what your intention is with the meditation. Like, are you meditating to release any anxiety or stress? Because if that's the case, then focus on grounding, because grounding is where we're able to come back to the present and forget about living in the past or living in the future, because that's how anxiety gets, you know, triggered, is when we're thinking, you know, in the future or the past, because we're not present with ourselves, worrying about what we can in front of us and not things that we can't control.
Yeah, exactly. And keep in mind that like guided meditations are different from like frequency, like sound meditations. There's sometimes, like, I've done guided meditations. I do like it. I think for me, everybody's different. But for me, when I first started doing meditation, I did the guided meditations with the voices, where they would really tell you where to go, what to visualize, what to see. So it's not that you're expecting, but it's that you are just going with it. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, oh, visualize that you're in your favorite place, and this place makes you feel safe. And then everything will just start to come to you. You don't have to think so hard. It will come to you, what makes you feel safe. And it's intuitive work. So the thing for guided meditations is that I will say it's not for everyone. Some people will listen to it and they're like, oh, like, you know, like I feel like that voice like kind of freaks me out, or like,
you really have to choose and find who has the best like resonance with you, because there are some like guided meditations where maybe their voice doesn't align with you, or like, you know, the type of like, you know, terms that they use you can't really comprehend or visualize those things. Visualization is really good, especially if you want to enhance being able to dream more vividly and being able to tap into your third eye, because that's all it's about, is like being able to see, you know,
or
what's
at
not
the
actually
same
there.
time, like a lot of people just can't do voice at all, you know, so
Find what works with you. I would say for me, when I do voice, I feel like I'm more grounded because I'm listening to their voice. But sometimes when I use like just like the music, I can get very lost because I start to travel. My soul starts to travel so much that I start almost like dreaming.
Yeah, and that's where you have to find your self-awareness, because the thing about like the guided meditations, like I always say it's for beginners, but there's some people who have told me that they can't do voice at all, you know, and it's your own personal way. Like they can't do voice because it gives them more overthinking, you know what I'm saying? Like they're like, no, now I'm really thinking about what this guy is telling me to think about. And like some people, they just don't function that way. So you need to use your intuition to see what works best for you. But if we talk about music, the funny thing is like, yeah, it's very interesting how your mind can drift really fast. But I will say, try the guided first, see how you do there. Once you start doing the music meditations, and I say that you have to do this like every day. This is not just like a one-time thing. Like I have been told, because I've taken meditation course where they're like, you have 24 hours in your day, you could take at least 20 minutes to do a meditation, you know, and that's very true. Like, I honestly have found it to be the most important thing for me to either start off with or to end off with. And I will drift so hard, but at the same time, I will, like, when I'm done, I'm like, I have no negative thoughts. I have nothing more to say. No gossip, no nothing comes out of me. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, like, when you really start to advance, because you have to practice, you won't get lost. You have to bring yourself back, you know. You can get lost, but the thing is that you have to stay grounded to be expansive. And I really, really stress that a lot for anybody who's doing spiritual work, because meditation is very spiritual too. They do that a lot on the eastern side of the world, and it's not something that you pay for. It's something that's free. It's something that you can do for yourself to help free your mind from certain chains and things that keep you, you know, guarded and lost. So the thing is that you have to stay grounded when you do certain things like this, certain work like this, because you will be even more expansive and you will be even more protected, and you will come back physically, like, I don't know, rejuvenized, like literally refreshed. Like, everything will be like, wow, I feel like a whole new person, you know. Like, I don't need to, like, gossip. I don't need to think about this. I don't need to think about how I'm stressed about stuff like that. The only thing is that I surrendered, you know. I gave all of my emotions away, and I'm like ready for the next thing, you know. How can I move forward now? So it's a big type of, like, practice routine. Like, I stress this, like, you have 24 hours in your day, just do it. They say 20 minutes, even if you could just do 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
I would say when you're first starting off, start with 5, because most people, you know, our attention span due to, like, technology these days have, you know, decreased so much, where 5 minutes is, like, where you kind of have to start sometimes, so that you don't get, you know, like, lost, or, like, all of a sudden you get distracted, or, like, oh, like, you start to get so tuned into your body that you can't sit still, you know. I was like that too when I first started. So honestly, start with 5 minutes, being able to just, like, sit down, not think about anything, clear your thoughts, forget about everything in the world, and just focus on yourself. Tune into your body. What do you feel? And just really be present and grounded. And then increase the time that you can with meditation. Another meditation that is really helpful that you should, you know, use too, is a protection type of meditation, is being able to visualize protection around you. This is going to be really helpful in your spiritual journey, or just life in general, because you always need protection all times.
Yeah, I would say the best advice that I ever got from meditation is that, yeah, if you have any thoughts, outside thoughts, you just say hi to it and just let it go. Like, you don't have to feel like, oh no, the thought's there, you know, like, now I'm gonna overthink. It's like, oh, the thought's there. Okay, well, I have a mind, but I'm not my mind. I have a body, but I'm not my body. You know, like, I am a spirit. I'm me. I'm Paris.
And a lot of times it's like, okay, don't judge yourself for having those thoughts. Acknowledge it and let it float. It's kind of like, let it come and go, and go. But don't get fixated on that, because that's part of meditation, is just letting things flow.
And that's, like, you know, we're human, so we have to expect that thoughts are going to come through 24/7. That's just who we are.
Exactly.
Yeah. So hopefully that helped.
We got a message here on YouTube. Agreed, be thankful for yourself. That's how I feel too. I'm so thankful and proud of myself. Thank you for starting your podcast. I've been a subscriber since last year. Oh, thank you so much, Lakai. That means so much to us.
Thank you. That means a lot. How true. I was listening to a lady's voice doing meditation, and I could tell she was sending out spells on her voice to draw people in, so I stopped listening to her and others.
Yes,
you really have to use your intuition with that.
Yeah, and discernment, being able to discern, like, how do you feel when you're listening to these things? It's kind of like music too, right? Sometimes we listen to music and it can make us feel a certain way, or it's like, oh, this doesn't feel right. It feels dark. It feels negative.
And movies too. Oh my gosh, like anything, meditation, movies, music, every single thing that's out there right now. Like, we talked about this in our last episode, but I recently was just watching some movies actually this past weekend, and I cannot agree more with you. There were some things where I was like, based on these movie suggestions that, you know, Netflix is showing me or things like that, like, I was like, this makes me feel really weird, or like I feel it's like programming almost. So you have to be very careful with discernment, because as I was watching some movies, I was like, be very careful people that use magic in movies as well. So
yes,
yeah,
magic, especially horror movies, where sometimes they are actually doing real spells or like real rituals, and they're opening portals. So like, you know, the TV can be a portal too, where things can come through. That's why it's really important to be aware of what you're feeding your mind, your ears, everything.
yeah.
Yes, I'm a singer songwriter. I try to only listen to my music. Oh, that's great.
It's amazing when you make your own music, your own frequencies. So, I mean, honestly, even if you guys make music, you guys have some sort of creativity, art, like divination, anything that you do, just like send it over to us. Let us know about your businesses. Let us know your talents and your creative arts and everything that you do. It's like, it's so cool to see other people share certain things with us, because we're all about, you know, high frequency, collective learning, collective sharing, and that's the frequency that we're moving into. So yeah,
exactly. Share with us if you guys are practitioners, you guys doing things special or creative. We'd love to hear it, and also like, you know, put it out there and share with other people in the community as well. All right, so that concludes our final episode on our Q&A, our year-end recap, and a bunch of different topics that, you know, you guys have been curious about. Let us know if there's any other final questions you guys would like to ask. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up here today. So thankful for everyone that had the opportunity to join us tonight. It's been really fun to chat with you guys and just be on here live. We'll try to do more live sessions in the future as well, so we can engage and connect with you all too. It's really exciting to see and hear about your perspectives.
Yeah, this was so much fun. And guys, like, thank you so much for all your support for season 1 and season 2 this year for 2024. We try to do our best for like giving, you know, you guys the best content that we can make. And if you guys have anything else that we, you know, you want us to talk more about, oh my god, I have my voice. Okay, but you want us to talk more about on the podcast and go more in depth with, we can definitely do that. We're like super excited to share this next season with you. It's gonna be even better, even more like
very
deep.
Excited, so excited to share with you guys what we have been brainstorming behind the scenes for you know, season 3 this new year. And yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of like good times, good vibes, good topics, and engagement with you all.
And stay tuned. If you really made it this far, we have a lot of surprises for next year, especially with our branch off of the crystals and something else that we're working on. So we do really want to just give you a little like hint or a sneak peek. Thank you so much to all of our viewers who have been there with us. We truly appreciate it, and we have so many plans and so many things upcoming for you guys, so stay tuned.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.